Good evening. I'd like to go ahead and call to order, Richland County Recreation's Commission, regular board meeting for tonight, May 20th, 2024. So I'd like to go ahead and call that to order. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley,
Yes.
motion approved.
So we do have a special recognition tonight that, unfortunately,
Announce that, that's not an action item. I mean, you're not.
I didn't know if we had to amend because I can't do it yet. Because they're not here yet.
You can just, a recognition like that can just
Just
be
stop.
done when you.
Okay,
But it's not an action item, so it doesn't have to be amended. You're not doing anything. It
Okay.
would be like recognizing somebody in the audience,
perfect. Okay, I just want to make sure I followed yep. All right, so, the next, I'll request the board to approve the minutes from April 15th, 2024. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for April 15th, 2024, regular board meeting.
Minutes.
Second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley,
Yes.
motion approved.
All right, so tonight, do we have anybody signed up for public input?
Yes, we do. We
Perfect.
have three to sign up to speak for public input. When your name is called, please come to the podium. You will be given 2 minutes to speak, and there will be a timer to notify you that the time has ended. First person, Mr. Lewis Carter.
Good evening, commission members. I appreciate this opportunity, the few minutes that I have, to briefly give you some comments. This past February, I attended the commission meeting to talk about the need to have more opportunities for children who have autism to participate in youth sports. I communicated also that I have volunteered as a coach, and I've had an opportunity to work with a variety of children. And I know that there are times when those children who have those particular type of needs aren't able to really engage because of the lack of training for coaches, and then of course the competitive nature as children start to get a little older. But during that time, over the past couple of months or so, and I did learn at that meeting that the Adaptive Services Program, which I wasn't quite familiar with it at the time, and so I really appreciate Mr. Lewis and his team taking time to talk to me after the meeting. I had an opportunity to meet with his team at Denny Terrace. The ladies there do an exceptional job, and it's very obvious that they care about what they're doing. And I've also had an opportunity to meet with Mr. Lewis one-on-one as well. And I really appreciate his time, the commitment that he has towards that population, and the imagination and creativity that he's employed to make sure that all of the children of Richland County who have an opportunity to participate with Richland County Recreation. I really appreciate all that he has done with that. So as someone who presented an issue, when I see that the work is being done, I also want to come back and to let you know that I do see that the work is getting done. I think that Mr. Lewis is doing a tremendous job. And by the way, he didn't know I was going to be here today, and he did not ask me to say these things. But I really felt that it was incumbent upon me to make sure that I came back and to let you know that he's done a spectacular job. He and his team, they have been out to North Springs Elementary School, where my cousin, well, not my cousin, but my nephew is a student there who has special needs. And they have worked with the school and the principal there to try to build some partnerships, and also some additional partnerships through Richland School District 2. So again, I appreciate what he has done, he and his team. And again, I just wanted to make sure that I came and to express those comments to you so you know that he and his team are doing a spectacular job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
That was great. That's probably such a breath of fresh air to hear that. And I think that just goes to show when we made the decision to bring Executive Director Lewis on full-time, that we did the right thing, and that's just probably the first time in 6 years, I think I've heard a comment like that, so thank you so much. Yeah. Is that
We-
right? I mean,
We
I-
have Mr. Jim Riente and Mr. Charles Kurtz. They would like to speak together.
Good evening, Jim Riente and Chuck Kersey. Kersey, yep. We're here to thank Mr. Lewis. He's done a lot of work for us at the North Springs racquetball courts. We've been playing there for over 10 years, and those courts have been absolutely horrible. No maintenance, dust on the courts, one wall was buckling, ceiling coming down. We complained every few months. And somebody will come in and dust the court, and that was it for about 2-3 months. And finally, Mr. Lewis and I and Chuck and Ken met early this year, like in March, April. And we talked to him. And I thought it was gonna be another runaround, like, yeah, we don't have the money, but we're gonna try to take care of you people. But this man over here, what he promised, he gave to us. Chuck, wanna get in there, say a few words?
Yeah, so we actually started playing at other courts because the courts were getting so bad. We were down in Tri-City, and we've been at Move Fitness and a couple other places too, but these courts now rank with the best in the county. They're just gorgeous courts now. So the walls are great. We're still working on a few minor little details. The dust is yet to settle on the construction, but we've been playing the last couple of weeks, and it's been really great. The floor is magnificent. So that was our number one concern, was getting that floor back into shape so we could actually have our shoes grip the floor and not slide all over. So, so now we're looking to improve the sport in this area. Hopefully, I have my grandkids come and play every once in a while, and they like the sport. I'd like to see more kids join. We'd like to see other plans being made, but we really want to thank Mr. Lewis for coming through on what the things he had promised to do, and really that court is going to be good for years to come.
We used to go in a hallway, it was filthy, metal bugs over the place. It was just horrible. But now it's respectable. So we thank you for your help.
You're welcome.
We hope in the future we can keep on playing at respectable courts, and we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. That was great. Third
That
person?
concludes our public input for tonight.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Thank you very much for taking the time to come and say those nice words. As a former squash and racquetball player, I know what dust can do to your rubber shoes when you're sliding around, so. Thanks, Taurus, for doing that. All right, so. All right, so we're at the budgetary or the financial report with Ryan. If you can go through the statement of revenue, the enterprise fund for Linrick, and then briefly at the end of your conversation, if you could explain to the board what's going to be going on with the budgetary process and the need for a special call meeting at the end of June.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Lapine, members of the Commission Board. I'd like to begin tonight by providing you with an update on the General and Enterprise Fund financials for the period July 1, 2023 through April 30, 2024. Total revenues for the general fund for the 10-month period were approximately 17.3 million compared to 15.8 million this time last year. Represents an increase approximately 1.6 million or a 9.9% increase. Property tax revenue was the largest driver for this increase. RCRC's overall property tax allocation did increase for fiscal year 24. In addition, grant revenues were up from this time last year as we did receive our remaining ARPA fund reimbursements at the beginning of this fiscal year. We also received funding that was built into the state budget. Program revenues for the 9-month period were 697,000 compared to 765,000 this time last year. Represents approximately $67,000 decrease in revenues or 8.8%. Parks and rental revenue was the largest driver for that decrease as the volume of rentals has decreased since this time last year. General fund expenditures for this period were 12.1 million compared to 12.4 million this time last year. Represents approximately 1.9% decrease or $230,000. The biggest driver for the decrease would be capital improvement and operating expenses. With that said, payments were made in May for parking lot renovations and insurance premiums, which will appear on next month's report. I expect that these costs be in line with their prior year figures. Enterprise fund revenues for the current period were 948,000 compared to 903,000. Represents approximately $45,000 increase from this time last year at 5%. Largest driver for the increase was an increase in volume, range, and in green fees, as well as cart rentals. Enterprise fund expenditures for this period were 761,000 compared to 851,000 this time last year. Represents approximately 10.6% decrease or $91,000. Salaries were the largest driver for this change, largely due to one less pay period passing during the current period when compared to the first portion of fiscal year 23. In addition, golf cart operating costs are down since we did purchase a number of used carts in fiscal year 23. To give a brief update on the budget, on June 6th, the second reading with County Council is scheduled to take place at 6 p.m. At that meeting, we typically receive our approved allocation figure from the county. So once we get that approved figure, we do typically update our budget template for that revenue figure. And we at that point would be we would have final numbers to schedule a public hearing and a budget session for RCRC. That session does need to be advertised 2 weeks prior to holding that meeting. Because of the timing, we would likely have to schedule a special call meeting on the week of June 24th through 28th. The reason for that would be the earliest that we could run that advertisement would be June 10th. And 2 weeks after June 10th would put us right around June 24th. Are there any questions?
I do have a question.
Sure.
I believe I asked this question sometime last year, probably before Director Lewis got here. But in the decrease with the rentals, have we pinpointed why that's happened yet? Is it because we have lack of staff? We're not able to facilitate any of the needs of people trying to rent, or I think I asked the same question. Have we figured out why it's significantly?
I can answer that. You're pretty much absolutely right. It was a lack of the facilities. A lot of the facilities were closed prior to me coming. My staff and I, we have staffed those facilities, especially those community centers now. and they're open back up. And we are seeing an increase in our rentals, as we speak. Property management now is working on operational. We just got that building back up to par, went in and did a complete renovation. We're loaded with rentals up there as well. So I think it was the fact that the community centers were closed. They wasn't being staffed. The staff here at the time just didn't have the resources to get people in there. So now that we have people in these community centers now, staffing these community centers, we are seeing an increase in our revenue with rentals.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Were there any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, we'll go to other business with, acting director, not acting. It says acting executive director, so it should just be executive. So, anyway, Horace. Can you give us your report?
Before I get started, I have a few acknowledgements. I want to thank Mr. Carter and Charles and Jim both for their kind words and acknowledgement of myself, but this is not a Mr. Lewis show. This definitely is the hard work of the colleagues that I work with daily to ensure that we are meeting the needs of our community, and it's a recreation agency. A special thanks to Ms. Tayana Henley and Property Management. They're the ones that really get stuff did around here. Her staff, they did an excellent job with those courts. We kept a lot of stuff in-house. Mr. Jim and Mr. Charles, I do thank you all for being patient. I know initially we said 2 weeks, but 2 weeks led to a month, but we did not want to open those courts back up until they was going to be extremely satisfying to you all. And we just wanted to make sure that they was going to be pleasing to you. Mr. Carter, thank you for your due diligence and introducing us to the staff for District 2. We have a lot of positive meetings. We got a lot of things planned in the near future. So I just want to let you know, Mr. Lewis doesn't do it by himself. I work with an exceptional staff daily. They get a lot of things done, and I'm extremely proud to be a part of what they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, I'm gonna go through my report. So these nice courts that Mr. Jim and Mr. Charles talked about, we'll give you an opportunity to look at them. We've had all of the courts renovated at North Springs Park, from the entranceway all the way to the courts. We put up nets, fans, redid the floors, sand the floors down. So they got players' benches. We have some technical difficulties, but we'll get to them. And I think they're really pleased with what we put out. We're moving from North Springs to Meadow Lake here shortly. Those courts are being renovated as well. Only thing we're waiting on now, we're waiting on the flooring to be installed at Meadow Lakes. Everything else has been taken care of. And then once we leave Meadow Lakes, we'll be going, when the budget starts, we'll go to Friars Gate to take care of those courts at Friars Gate Park. And we can also take care of the courts at Kaufman Road Park as well. So if you look here now, you can see an upgrade of the courts. When you first come in, we totally redid the entranceway, new tile, new grip support, the staircases, repainted. We had a player bench. We had a shelf for the players to put their belongings on. Those floors was completely redone. We got 1 or 2 minor things we need to add for Mr. Jim and Mr. Charles to ensure that they have a quality court. So we're gonna make sure we take care of those issues as well. Also at Meadow Lake, we just installed a new HVAC, and we also installed new LED lights in the parking lot to ensure that our patrons can see when they're leaving those fields. Those parking lots have been really dark at a lot of facilities, so we are trying to make improvements there. Blythewood Park, we did the same thing at the baseball complex. We had 2 new light poles installed by Dominion Energy. Now, when patrons leave the baseball complex, the parking lot is lit up brightly. They can see what's going on when they get in their car. It creates a safe environment for not only staff, but the patron as well. Trenton Park, we added new LED lights as well. There, the same. Here, Eastover Park, we had the bathroom was vandalized about 6 or 7 months ago. Ms. Henley was able to get those taken care of prior to the May Festival to ensure that those patrons, those 500 or 600 patrons that was there, had some nice restrooms that they could be proud to go in and use. We had a new locking mechanism on them now, so all the staff can unlock them and we can lock them back to ensure that they can't be hopefully they will not be vandalized again. And lastly, we're continue to install security cameras and alarm system throughout the county. We recently did Dennis Terrace Gymnasium and Perry Thomas Community Center to ensure that those cameras are working. We realize in a lot of our facilities, our cameras are not working at all. They've been out for a while. So we're prioritizing the ones that need to be working first, and then we'll continue to upgrade as we move throughout the fiscal year, this upcoming year. So we have a lot going on. I know every month I try to give you all a visual of what we're doing. We try to listen to what our community members say about things that we know we need to repair. A lot of things have been neglected for the last 5 or 6 years, but for the last 7 months, once again, like I said, Ms. Henley and her staff, property management, that construction crew, they have really been busy getting things done. We prioritize a list of projects for them to do. We probably got 3 months worth of stuff ready to work on now. Every month I'll kind of give you all an update on what we're doing throughout the county. So we try to go to every district, every area of the county and make sure we could do something in somebody's district to show them that we are, not only just worried about one place, but we are concerned about the county as a wide. So I thank you. And if you have any questions, let me know.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for what you're doing. I've seen you in action firsthand, meeting with different communities with me. So I just want to say I appreciate what you're doing. Continue to do it. And looking forward to great things.
Yes, sir. Just curious, and I hadn't had a chance, are you happy with where you're at on the parking lots getting refinished at Kaufman and Meadow
Yes,
Lake?
parking lot at Kaufman, we met with the contractors. They went back out and kind of raised some levels
Yeah.
that was holding water. And they're going back to Meadow Lake, I believe, Ron, in another week or so to finish doing that. So they've been very honest about working with us, and no charges for any of the work that they need to redo. We're working on now the draining issue at Kaufman. We think we got that rectified at Meadow Lake, I think we got that rectified as well to kind of get that area where a whole lot of water at. I think we'll be good. But lastly, I want to publicly thank you all as a board for having confidence and trusted me to allow me to be the permanent executive director for this agency. I was here for 16 years before. I've been here almost 8 months now. This was always home. I'm a true believer in what God had for you. It is for you. And I couldn't have came back to a wonderful set of people that I get to work with every day. And as a board, I just want to thank you all for your support and your effort and, allowing me to do my job and having a respectable and professional relationship with each one of you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. The Hopkins Pool Project launch was hosted on April 17th. Over 100 patrons attended, including several special guests, including members of Richland County Council, Shaquise Newton, Cheryl English, Representatives Jermaine Johnson, Ms. Carletta Wilson, Bernice Scott, and more. Hosted on April 20th, the Farm Festival at the Gaston Park Community Center was a ton of fun. The event featured games, horse rides, food vendors, and more. About 80 patrons attended. Special thank you to Mr. Wayne Adams and Sandra Arthurton for hosting this fun event. Also on April 20th, Polo Road Park hosted a youth volleyball clinic that taught volleyball basics to around 20 kids. Special thanks to the members of the Allen University women's volleyball team for taking the time to teach these kids. Additionally, on April 20th, Blytheville Park hosted a community garden day. Over 30 patrons comprised of kids and adults attended this fun event. Excuse me, bear with me. This was a busy month for us. On April 27th, the Lower Richland Sweet Potato Festival was hosted at Hopkins Park Adult Activity Center. The event featured a parade, sweet potato pies, performers, and more. Special thanks to the Commissioners Anderson, Jacobs, Lindsay, and Mobley for their participation on the RCRC parade float, as well as the RCRC staff members, Tanya Vaughn, Ms. Felicia Venable, Demetra Goodwin, Ms. Latoya Watkins, and Ms. Connie Reeves. On May 9th, the Gaston Park Community Center hosted a Mother's Day potluck brunch. Over 20 patrons attended this event designed to honor mothers from across the community. RCRC would like to congratulate Mr. Lewis on his appointment to the position of Executive Director. Mr. Lewis has served in recreation for 24 years, impacting numerous communities across Columbia. In his free time, Mr. Lewis enjoys spending time with his family, serving communities as part of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity. RCRC is pleased to have him serving at the highest echelon of leadership. We'll go on a series for Park of the Month. So once I call your name, please stand under the sign. So first we have the Park of the Month is Polo Road Park. Thank you, Polo Road Park staff, Thank you, Jasper Spencer, Mackenzie Hayes, and Anthony Whetstone. Next, the community center of the month is North Springs Community Center. Thank you, North Springs Community Center staff, Ashley Davis and Mr. Larex Tucker. Yup, North Springs. Thank you, District 2 Supervisor, Mr. Randolph Anderson. And thank you, Community Center Supervisor, Ms. Charlene Granville. In conclusion, I would like to read this letter from Ms. Carletta Wilson. She sends her regards from the Hopkins community, and it states, we wanted to thank you personally tonight for our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for supporting our festival. But due to prior commitment, I could not be in attendance. On behalf of the committee and board, our festival could not continue to be a huge success in our community at Hopkins Park without your unwavering support to us. Every task or request honored did not go unnoticed and made a major impact to us. You are all an example to the community of the hard work and commitment that is being put into RCRC under the new leadership of Mr. Lewis. He is inspiring everyone to work harder to promote our parks and activities in a capacity as our festival continues to grow each year. Genuinely grateful, Ms. Carletta Wilson.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, if I may.
To give.
All
Mr.
right.
Chairman, I just want to thank the RCRC staff. I know that the Sweet Potato Festival is a huge festival, and you all work so tirelessly that on that day. I just want to say I appreciate you, not just for that festival, for what all you all do throughout every event that we have. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
For upcoming events, last but not least, On May 23rd, we have our seventies and eighties party at Garner's Ferry Adult Activity Center. May 25th, the Lupus Awareness Walk at St. Andrews Park. Also on the 25th, the Gullah Festival Day Trip at Park Lane Adult Activity Center. On the 29th, the National Senior Health and Fitness Day at Meadow Lake Park. June the 1st, Cornhole Game Day at Hopkins Park. June the 5th, afternoon hot tea at Ballantyne Community Center. June the 7th, candle making event at North Springs Community Center. The June 13th, Father's Day celebration at Gaston Park Community Center. And then lastly, the end of the school celebration at Polo Road Park. That concludes my report. There are any questions?
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you very much. Great job.
So
So, um, so we've got one other special presentation that before we go into executive session, which we'll do, we're gonna do that presentation and I'll let Director Lewis run that as soon as he comes back in. So give us 1 second. All right. So I think Ms. Hutchison and Commissioner Lindsay will make a special presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Chair Lapine and Commissioners. We are here this evening to recognize one of our very own Richland County Recreation Commission's family members, Ashlyn Watkins. Throughout her younger years, Ashlyn Watkins played basketball at North Springs, Killian Road, and Kaufman Road Parks. At Cardinal Newman, Ashlyn helped the girls' basketball team win 4 straight SCISA Class 3A state championships and became the all-time leading scorer and rebounder along with 366 block shots. During her senior year, Ashlyn posted 20.5 points, 15.5 rebounds, and 2.9 blocks per game. Because of these amazing stats, strong character, and community service, Ashlyn became the first Richland County High School Player of the Year girls basketball recipient. This prestigious award, created by Chris Santino, recognizes senior student athletes that excel in academics, community service, good character, and sport. Ashlyn, we are proud of all of your accomplishments, which includes winning a national championship with the South Carolina Gamecocks women's basketball team, but also with your continuance to be a role model for the youth of Richland County. Ashlyn, please come front to be recognized and acknowledged by Richland County Recreation Commission and Richland County Recreation Foundation.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's here and thank you to all of my coaches and like the kids that played with me when I was in rec league. I played since I was in 2nd grade at North Springs back in Richland County, and I ended it in Kaufman Road back in Hopkins. And it was a great journey and it was great coaches. It was a great way to start my basketball career. And I just want to say thank you to everybody.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Staff RCRC. My name is Lydia Overton. I am the current president of East Columbia Youth Basketball League down out of Kaufman Road Park. And I'm joined along with Adrian Jackson, who's the vice president, and Greg Sinkler, who is our league advisor. Ashlyn, we wanted to be a part of this as well. You've really came down to East Columbia Youth Basketball League and made your mark. So on behalf of East Columbia Youth Basketball League, first, we would like to congratulate you on your NCAA Division I National Championship with the South Carolina Women's Gamecock team. Go Cox. And your hard work and dedication on and off the court exemplifies the spirit and the motto of East Columbia Youth Basketball League. You continue to be a role model for the young girls who are coming up behind you in that league, and they can look at those banners on that wall and see your name and see all that you're doing now and all that you're going to do, and use you as a guiding light of how to be the next Ashlyn Watkins. So congratulations. And we would like to present you with a league jersey.
Yeah. We get a motion to go into executive session?
I make a motion to go in executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you all. Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley.
Yeah.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
motion approved.
Right. Thank you. Right, yeah, we'll be coming out of intention session. It was Bill votes second, no. I hate the reason one action take place. I feel this mounting. So yeah, I should need to go.
I make a motion to come out of the executive session. Second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley.
Yeah.
Motion approved.
Okay, is there any, there is an action to take place, reading?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to move forward with the adopted proposed independent contractor contract.
Second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley. Motion approved.
Okay, Giles,
make a motion to adjourn. And if this is, Commissioner Miller's last meeting, we appreciate everything you've done. We'll be, come back for, taking your picture off the wall card.
Thank y'all so much.
Make a motion to adjourn. Hold on. Actually,
I'd like to make a decision.
Second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacob,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
yes.
Commissioner Lindsey, Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley.
Yeah.
Motion approved, meeting adjourned.
Feel-